Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching me from. This is Coffee on the Culture, Saturday morning relationship talk with me, Sandra D. And I'll just get started whilst I wait for my guest, Bishop Larry Odunkot, to come on. And we're going to have a conversation, as we normally do on a Saturday morning, where we come your way. I told you this year we're just doing it. This year we're giving it to you nice and hot, nice and smooth. So you know what? Whilst we're waiting for Bishop to come on, just rush into your kitchen and get yourself a hot cup of coffee. Do you know something? This morning I didn't go the coffee way. Can you believe it? Today I'm having berry tea. Do you know why? Because I'm trying to wean myself off coffee, but not completely though. I know I love coffee. The smell of coffee first thing in the morning kickstarts me, and so yeah, I'm taking it easy on the coffee bit, but I will still have my coffee. Maybe after my berry tea, the coffee will kick in. And so, guys, just gather around and we're talking relationship issues. And like I said from the beginning of the year, I said we want to get it right. That's why I come your way every Saturday morning, just so that we get it right. We don't want to miss any stuff this year. We want to have the best kind of relationships, the best kind of marriages, everything that is to do with how God wanted our marriages to be. And Bishop Larry is in the house. I'm just going to add him to the studio and we will start. Hey, hey, Happy New Year, my Bishop.
Happy New Year, my dear. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. It's so nice to have you on. I'm so honored to have you on. And listen, this man just drops them like they're hot, you know. And anytime I have the opportunity to do a live show with him, I feel so blessed at the end of it all. And so I know you're also going to be blessed. And listen, from I think from the first Saturday of this year, I came on with Delasi, and then last week I came on with Reverend Buckman. And today I have Bishop Larry. Guys, don't you think we're being blessed? And next week, who knows who we're going to get? Because we want to get our marriages right. We want to get our
Right.
relationships right. And if you can tell from the note or the caption of my the picture I left on my page last night, I said, that's what Miles Monroe said. He says, when the purpose of something is not
It's
known,
not
abuse
known.
is inevitable because you
That's
don't
right.
know how to use it. If I have
Yeah.
a remote and I don't know I can put the volume up or put the volume down or change channels, the remote is of no use to me. And so we want to get
You
it
you
right. When you get
you
married
you,
or when you
you
fall in love or when you're in a relationship, we want to get it right this year.
right,
Bishop, it's so
my dear.
nice to have you on my screen again
Thank.
this morning.
I'm just struggling a bit with my orientation. Just give me a
Yes,
sec.
I can see you. Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay now. It's okay.
It's okay now. Okay.
I
Let me
love
just put you.
the background though.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
the
This
palm tree behind
what
you.
welcome to Africa.
Thank you so much for having me in your garden this morning.
We are
Uh,
surrounded by we are
I'm
surrounded
honored.
by
I'm blessed.
nature.
I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I
All
know
right.
you're full of wisdom, godly wisdom and counsel. That one I can give it
Thank
to you for free because I know
thank you.
I've,
Thank you.
I've, I've experienced Bishop for the past 3 years. Was it
Thank you.
4 years? It was COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was COVID.
Oh my
2020
God, can you believe it? For 4 years.
already.
Wow.
Yes.
And I've enjoyed his godly wisdom and his godly counsel as much as he's not just to, godly, or so forth, but he gives you practicality because you live in the world. Everyday things happen. You're not a spirit being as an angel, you're a
Absolutely.
human being. And so you go through the emotions of life and everything that every human being goes through. And so,
Right.
guys, help me welcome to the screens this morning, Bishop Larry Odunko. So nice to have you
Right.
on, sir.
Thank
Now
you,
we're
Sandra.
talking about getting everything right. And we
Right.
used what Miles Monroe said. When the purpose of something is not known, abuse is inevitable. Now let's get our marriages right. From dating, courting, getting married, and all that. Please take me away. We want to get it right this year.
All right. So a happy new year to our listeners and our viewers, and especially to you.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
like you rightly said, it's been long since we had any show, and so when you invited me, I said, "Oh, it's just a privilege to come on and then also share what we know to be a blessing to the body of Christ." So
Amen to that.
I read that thing that you wrote, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. That's a very profound statement, very revelational, very, very informative. And I like the example that you gave with like the remote. If you don't know the purpose of your remote, you can easily use it as a hammer,
Isn't it? Yes.
So you pick a nail and then because it looks like a hammer, it looks like something you can use to knock a nail,
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and that statement is one of the statements that I grew up with, that you really need to know the purpose of things so that you do not abuse
Yeah.
it. It's the same with marriage. Now, for us to get married right, we need to go to the source.
True.
And marriage is not any man's idea. Marriage is not any man's idea. Marriage is God's idea. You get it? Yeah, marriage is God's idea. It's not a man's idea at all. So, because Adam was sitting here somewhere, and then Adam never asked God for a wife. Never. He was content. He was happy. Then God comes and says, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make an help meet for him." Then God carves Eve out of his ribs, and then God brings Eve to him, and then God allows him. In fact, when he saw Eve, he said, "Whoa, man!" It's like, "Whoa, man!" It's like, "Whoa, man!" It's like like you
Yes,
say,
you
"Wow,
exclaim, wow."
wow, Sandra." It's like when you see your husband, you're like, "Wow, Sandra, really,
Damn,
is
is
this
this
you?"
mine? Yes.
Then it became woman. So woman is actually, a combination of those two words. Wow, man. And then, of course, yeah, because he was like, "Adam, mini. Adam, is this me?
Is this me?
Wow,
Yes.
Adam." And then she became woman.
Yes.
Adam didn't find any fault. Adam didn't find any fault, and Adam was happy ever after, until, as the narrative has it,
Yeah.
he was deceived, blah 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 blah. So
Yeah.
and in the New Testament, when one day they were asking Jesus about whether it was good to have multiple partners and whatnot, and whether in the resurrection who will marry who and that kind of, he said, in the beginning it was not so. In the
Yes.
beginning it was so. You realize that if we want to understand the purpose of marriage, then we need to go to the beginning. The beginning. That's
I
why
like that.
the whole purpose is clearly laid out, right?
Yes.
So if we can go to the beginning, then we understand the process that God went through to create woman, and then the whole concept of marriage, what God had in mind, blah 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 blah. So to just answer your question, or to just as a way of introduction, to get it right, we need to go to the one
The source.
who made it, the source.
Yes.
The source. You can't learn marriage from your grandmother. You can't learn marriage from your mother. You can't learn marriage from a friend. You can only learn marriage and get it right when you go back to the source.
I like that. I like that. See, when you buy something from the shop and it comes in a package, they give you instructions as to how to use whatever it is. Even these days with Amazon, when you buy even a table, it's not assembled. It comes in bits, and you have to put them all together to get a complete table. And they give you the instructions
rules,
to go with it.
guidelines.
So, like you rightly said, you have to go to the source in order for you to get it right. My goodness, this is amazing. Good morning to everyone that has just joined in, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. We want to say good morning and thank you for coming on. And I have this amazing man of God. He is not just a bishop, he's become a brother, and he's a friend, and he's got godly wisdom, godly counsel, as well as practicality. Like, he just laid it down for you. He says you need to go back to the source, go back to the person that manufactured it, go back to the manufacturer. Even a car, when your car is not working and it's under warranty, you still take it back to wherever you bought it from for them to sort it out for you. That is awesome. So why do we as people don't want to go back? We think we can do it all by ourselves, and then in the process we mess everything up. Why don't we think of going back to the person that created it, to the person that said, Adam, it's not good for you to be alone, and so I'm creating a helpmate for you. Why do we want to carry the burden of messing things up?
So the reason is very simple. For many people, if you look at what I have just narrated, is that my hot chocolate you're drinking? I saw you posted one on.
Yeah.
On
Yours is coming, specially packaged with whipped cream.
Oh, lovely. So now, if you look at the narrative that I just gave, right?
Yeah.
Now you notice that. Watch this carefully. This is how many people have gotten it wrong. Marriage was never man's idea.
Hmm.
And then who Adam married was also not his choice.
Wow.
Watch it carefully. So you notice that God didn't create Eve, Evelyn, Evita, and Evangeline and then tell Adam, choose. But what has happened with most men is that most men have followed their wisdom in choosing a wife. So now, when trouble strikes, they do not have the confidence to go back to
the source,
God,
whoever created it. Yes,
because God never gave them such a wife. I'm telling you, you know, you say, some time ago, I was listening to T.D. Jakes. He made this profound statement many years ago. He said, we have exalted our rights above the one who makes us righteous.
Oh my God, please say it again.
I'll say it again. He said, we have exalted our rights above the one who makes us righteous. And God is such a gentleman that when you eliminate him from your decision-making process, he takes a back seat.
That's true.
So in Revelations 3:20, this famous verse that we use to most evangelists use to preach to unbelievers, where it says that I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice, I'll come in, I'll open the door and come in. And now that verse was said to Christians.
Yeah.
Actually, technically speaking, or that verse is not really supposed to be used for unbelievers, because Jesus said that to the church of Laodicea, because the church of Laodicea had, digressed and deviated so much from his will that he has stepped out of the church, and he was not there. But he was telling them, if you repent and then you knock, I will come in. Many people have followed their wisdom, have followed their own specification, and chosen wives that God never intended them to have. Notice that the Bible said that I will make an help meet for him. It's not help meet, oh.
No,
it said an help meet
for
that
him.
That means help that will be useful
tailor-made
to him. Yes, tailor-made. It's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
How you are, your temperament, your this. There is some type of a woman that you need. Not every help will be meet for you.
For you, true.
Yes. So if you don't connect to God, right?
And
then you follow your own wisdom, you will find a type of help. But as to whether that help will be meet for you, that is one problem that has caused many people not to have the confidence to go back to God. Because many people, if you ask them, they'll tell you, she was there. One guy told me, look, I married my wife because she was beautiful. She was beautiful. That's all. I mean, she's beautiful to me. That's all. But let me tell you, beauty is not all that we look for.
Yeah.
There are many things, because many people are beautiful. Is
Absolutely.
this one the right person? Is this one the right person? Now, even with the case of Adam and Eve, right? Now, even though, because I know some intelligent minds will just process what I'm saying very quickly, and then they'll say, oh, but Pastor, after all, even Eve, who God made whatever, problem came. Now, when problem came, I'll show you. I'm sure we'll get there. The mistake Adam made was, instead of Adam loving God more than the product Eve, Adam loved Eve so much that Adam chose to go down with Eve. So the Bible says Adam was not deceived. What Adam should have done was Adam should have just called God and said, "The woman you gave me." He should have made that statement earlier before
Yeah.
eating the fruit. He should have gone to the source and say, "Hey, I'm coming to the manufacturer. There's a problem with the product, and
Yeah.
you gave us a strict instruction: don't eat the fruit. And the woman you gave me has come to eat the fruit. So come and take her away." And I
Yeah.
tell you, I can suggest to you exactly what would have happened. Because
Yes.
God's intention does not change and his purposes does not change. All God would have done was Eve would have just fallen down and died, and then God would create another person
Another one.
for Adam. I'm telling, because God's plans and purposes does not change. He may change the method that he's going to use to achieve, but his plans and so Adam would have not lost anything. Eve would have just vanished. God said, "In the day that you eat, you will surely die."
Yeah, you surely die.
It would have happened. It would have happened practically in the life of Eve. She would have just fallen down like this, boom, die,
Oh
and
my
then just
God.
decay. And then God would just create another person for Adam. But Adam made the mistake of choosing the wife's wrong way and going with it against God's wisdom.
Yeah.
And that is what brought this big trouble. So to answer your question, why many people cannot go back, is basically two things. Because they didn't get that wife or that husband they got from God. So they can't go back, because God will tell you, "Who gave you this wife? Where did you get this from? This is not my will for you."
Yeah.
Then two, some of them also, even if the God gave them, when trouble comes, they just don't realize that God is able to look. I just came from. He's able to restore. He has a plan. Even when Adam and Eve ate the fruit, they were surprised that they covered themselves with leaves. But God had a better plan. He killed the lamb and took the skin. And God is such loving. Even when you have made a mistake, he knows how to, if you can trust him.
Yeah.
That's what the Bible says, that trust in the Lord with all your might. Lean not on your own understanding.
Wow. Yes, I shared that this morning with my mom's group. We have a mom group called Real Moms.
Right.
I shared that this morning. As a trust not in your own understanding, on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge the Lord, and he will direct your path. Amazing. Wow. Bishop, you are dropping it like it's hot. And I love what you just said, that even when Adam and Eve erred, if they had gone back and said, "Lord, help us to reconnect," it would have been easier for Adam than what he did. Oh, Lord. Guys, are you listening?
Yeah.
Bishop said God didn't create Eve, Sandra, Awo, Abna, whatever, for one man. It wasn't so. God only created Eve. So for those of you who are saying that even if you're a Christian, you have access to multiple wives and I don't know where you get that from. No. But anyway, we'll leave that to your own discretion. Just think about it. Bishop, please carry on. I'm enjoying it. Today I'm just taking from you. I'm not asking you questions. I'm just taking from you.
Okay. So what Adam should have done, I want to reiterate that, what Adam should have done was to trust God and allow God to solve the problem. You see, men, and this is one of the problems. I'm talking from the man's perspective.
Yeah.
That when you have a challenge, because of the process and because of the fact that we go to chase the women, a woman is sitting here somewhere. We've never heard that a woman has gone to pay dowry for a man. I don't know anything like that. In the Christian circles, it's the man, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife. So it's the man who does the living to cleave. So he goes for his wife, and that is why the wife takes on the name of the man. All those, because it's the man's idea. That is why I'm looking at the problem from that angle, that it's as though you have gone to choose somebody and now there's a problem.
Yeah.
Now, many people fail to go back to God for solution, because just like Adam did, they see the first problem, instead of, deciding that this thing must be solved and this is a problem and attending to it, they somehow go along with
Yeah.
it. Adam should have just halted right there and then called God on his mobile phone and say, hello, God, I need you here right now. Then tell him, the woman you gave me, not she has made me eat. She has eaten it, and you told us we shouldn't eat. And she's attempting to give it to me. There are people, there are marriages, there's a revelation right there. There are marriages that you will find out that where we got this idea from, I don't know. In the name of never look divisive, you as couples, in the eyes of people. When the wife does something wrong, the husband, especially in public, the husband doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
You will see that there are a lot of, in the name of always present a united front and only talk about your issues in the bedroom, which to an extent makes sense.
Yeah.
When it comes to matters of right and wrong, your loyalty must be to the truth.
True.
So
absolutely,
yes, you must be able to disagree in love.
Yeah.
Honey, I don't agree with this. I don't think when it is about matters of truth, because truth personified is Jesus.
Absolutely right.
Jesus is an embodiment of truth. So now, if you compromise the truth in the name of, I don't want my wife to feel bad. You compromise the truth in the name of, I don't want my husband to feel bad. She says something, she talks to you in a way that is not right. Or he does something that is not right. Instead of saying it as it is with respect and with love and with, firmness, so that you don't mince words. There is no ambiguity, because you are dealing with people. Just keep quiet and let it slide, and then it begins to grow.
Yeah.
So you see that Adam failed. If you read the story, when Eve ate the fruit, Adam never rebuked her. Adam never said anything.
Yeah.
And then perhaps even Adam, if you remember, even in that story, the instruction not to eat the fruit was actually given to Adam.
Yeah.
So Eve was not even there. So for all we know, Adam failed to impress it upon her that we are not really supposed to eat this tree, or we are not supposed to talk to anybody else apart from God or whatever. I'm just, assuming a few things. But you can see that the responsibility is on the leader to ensure. Now, there is a verse that comes to mind, going back to how people find wives. If you read Proverbs 18:22, this is one of the famous verses that people use when they are getting married. They say that what? Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing. And obtains favor in the Lord, which is true. Now, so this verse seems to suggest to people that finding a wife is your duty. To an extent, it's your duty.
Yes.
But you must actually find the wife God has for you. Not just find a wife. You see, this way, whosoever findeth a wife. So people feel that, it's just my duty. I see what I like, and then Charlie,
I go for it.
But then, as soon as you go to the next chapter, which is chapter 19, and I read verse 14, now you see an interesting verse that says, house and riches are the inheritance of fathers.
The fathers, yeah.
And a prudent wife is from the Lord.
Aye.
So now you see that it's not just a matter of finding. So you can either find a wife, and then God will give you favor to try and survive. Or
I like that. God will give you favor to survive.
He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So if it's a good thing for you, then God says, Yo, Mate, here is favor so that you manage your problem
small.
Small. So it's either that, or you can wait on God and allow God to give you a prudent wife. That one is not found. That one is given.
Yeah.
That one is not found. That one is
wow.
given.
This is deep.
I'm telling you, Sandra, and that
This
is one
is
of the
deep.
And I'll tell you something. It is the same also with women.
Yeah.
The only woman in the Bible described as a virtuous woman, the only example of a virtuous woman we have in Proverbs 31 talks about the characteristics of a virtuous woman.
Yeah.
But an example of a virtuous woman, which is, when we say example, a person with a name and a personality that we have in the Bible, is Ruth.
Yeah.
Ruth is the only person in the Bible described as a virtuous woman. Now, watch something about Ruth. When Ruth married the children of Naomi, one of the sons of Naomi, and then he died, then Ruth switched to follow the Lord.
Yeah.
She switched to follow Naomi's God. Even
Yeah.
Naomi looked at Ruth and told Ruth, do I have any more sons? Even if I were to give birth today, would you wait for him to grow? In fact, it was Ruth and Naomi who were following Ruth and Oprah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who were following Naomi. Naomi reasoned in the natural and said, look, go back to your gods, because they were Moabites, they were not Israelites. Go back to your gods, go back to your parents, go back to your people.
Yeah.
But Ruth stood by her conviction and said to Naomi, your God will be my God, your people shall be my people. Where you die, I will die. Where you are buried, I'll be buried.
But also
a very important statement. I'm showing you how, because Ruth eventually found Boaz as a husband.
Yeah.
And Boaz was a very God-fearing man who had maidens around him, but he was not into
any of
just
them.
women. Thank you. Until God, that connection came, and
divine connection.
Divine connection, Sandra. I'm trying, and then they gave birth to Obed, and then Obed gave birth to Jesse. Jesse gave birth to David, and then through that line, Jesus was born.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Sandra, many people don't give God a chance when it comes to that area.
Absolutely true.
Some find who they want to marry and push the person on God. Say, God, this is it, endorse. This is it, endorse. So somebody says, I'm praying, but what he's actually saying is that I've already decided. I'm just satisfying my conscience.
Yeah.
But people don't go into a neutral position, close their eyes, wait on God, and sincerely say, God, lead me. Let your will be done.
Yes.
If Ruth was not that type of a person, then the natural thing Ruth would have done was to disconnect from Naomi, to see Naomi as some bad luck, follow, because Naomi's advice was a very good advice. Look, God has taken my sons. We left Bethlehem or Bethel to come to Moab because there was no food. There was famine. Now, instead, my sons have come to die, and my husband Malon and Chilon, my sons have come to die here. Now, you should even see that in the natural. If you're analyzing the natural, you should say, this woman, she's bad luck.
Exactly.
But this lady follows her conviction, leaves her people. I mean, is that a woman who is desperate for a husband? No, it can't be.
No.
Because if she was, then she should quickly stay. She should follow the advice and stay and look for another man. But she says, I'm following this woman who everything, in fact, to even make matters worse, to put the icing on the cake in Naomi's story. Naomi even changed her name from Naomi, which means joy, to Mara,
bitter,
which means bitter. You know your Bible. So how do you follow this woman who calls herself bitter? What sweet thing can I get from there? But watch what happens. As God will have it. Through this same person, Ruth meets the richest, the most caring, the man in Israel, Boaz. And Boaz marries her. And watch also, Boaz doesn't go like, I'm looking for, a virgin, because Ruth was not a virgin.
No, she was a widow. So she's been there before.
She was a widow. She's been there many times. But you see, it's not about some of these things. They are necessary. But what is of utmost importance is the leading of the Lord. And then their marriage is so, divine, so unconventional. Boaz is an Israeli, a Jew,
Yeah.
and then Ruth is a
A
Moabite.
Moabite. Yeah.
You understand? She's a it's just amazing.
That
And then
doesn't work. It shouldn't even
it
work.
just it shouldn't work. And then this woman she has no papers in Israel to live in Israel, and it's
Exactly.
like she's an
Illegal
immigrant.
immigrant.
She's illegal immigrant. All the odds are against her.
Yes.
And I can tell you that I wonder how many men will choose such a person. Meanwhile, if you read the story, Boaz has maidens who are harvesting. He has workers around him all over.
Yeah.
And then Ruth, the same Ruth who doesn't follow the advice of Naomi to go back to her people, now this time follows Naomi's advice as to how to win the heart of Boaz. That look, it looks like this man likes you. When you go, lie at his feet. Look at the lie at his feet, and then cover, and then when he wakes up. So you can see a woman in terms of Ruth who is so spiritual.
Yeah.
She knows how to receive from the person she should receive to at the time she should receive, and she knows how not to receive. She knows when this counsel from this woman that I respect is a bad idea, and then in another setting, this counsel that is coming from this woman is a good idea.
Yeah.
You'll find many people who anything their mother will say, they'll follow because mommy said
the
it.
good, the bad, the ugly.
Thank you, my dear. They can't tell. They don't have their own connection with the Lord. They are not following the Spirit to know when what mommy is saying at this time is right. It's not godly. And what mommy is saying at this other time is wrong, or whatever. Are you getting it? So these are the parameters that are missing in the lives of people, and it has introduced a lot of problems. So I tell people that even at the time when there was no sin in the world, and yet Adam had this problem with Eve, how much more now? Now that there is sin. So if there was a time for us to connect with our God and make sure that we are following his leading than ever before, so that we don't get it wrong, it is now.
Wow. Guys, listen, I'm just sitting down here, and I don't know about you, but for me, anytime I'm doing these kind of things, I have my pen and my journal and I write them down. The point, I write it down. Do you know why? Because I can go back always and refer. And it's always important that you write stuff down. You just go back in your quiet time, just sit down. And if you're like me, I even play back conversations in my head. After talking to somebody, I play back the conversations in my head. After talking to you, when all is said and done, I'm going to go back again and watch and glean from the knowledge that you've shared. And I think that people should do that. Listen, if you're watching it live, share this to your timeline, share it onto your WhatsApp groups and all that. You can share it because it's public. So you can share it onto all other platforms that you were on. Let people also get this information. This year we said we're getting it right. And to get it right, Bishop has made us to understand we need to go back to the manufacturer. We need to go back to the source. We need to go back to the one that has put an eternal warranty on it. Most things that we buy from showrooms and from companies, they come with maybe 18 months guarantee or a year's guarantee or 5 years warranty. After that, if anything happens, you're on your own. But with God, he's giving us an eternal warranty. Irrespective of where you are on the journey of marriage, it doesn't matter, like Bishop just said, whether you're like breaking down or you're wobbly or yes, Deladem says I call it resetting. Absolutely. This year we're resetting, we're refocusing on the one that has created marriages, on one that has give us, you see, and I say this, that God is love. And so if God is love and you're in love with someone, then you should see them as the way God sees them, irrespective of their flaws. And I'm not saying that, please, if you're being abused and being killed and being murdered, please stay. That's not what I'm saying. That one, I tell you for free, run for your life if you're being abused, please. But if maybe there's a breakdown in communication, there's a breakdown somewhere, you can always fix it. Always fix it. And I like it when Bishop gave that example of Naomi telling Ruth what to do when it came to going to see Boaz. And this is wisdom. What Naomi gave Ruth was pure wisdom. She was giving her a as to how to
Right.
win this man, and God gave Ruth to Boaz, and that was a divine matchmaking.
Yes.
Because Ruth didn't go to Boaz's field with the intention of getting married to him.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Never.
Not at all.
But you know, some of these girls, Bishop, permit me to say, they go into specific offices, specific places with the intent of wooing this man, with the intent of making sure that this man sees me, with the intent of saying, I'm going to seduce this man because me too, I need whatever the wife is, is enjoying. Yeah. But this year, we're refocusing. Yes, then we need to reset. It's very important. We need to reset. And Bishop, someone is really bugging me with a question, and he keeps asking, we need an explanation. He says,
okay.
Oh, let me post it on so you can see. There's all the prophets in the Bible who married one woman, and why, I think it was why in our time it has become a taboo.
This is definitely,
before we go on, just answer this.
This is definitely a man's question.
Mm-hmm,
this is definitely a man's question.
It's a man. Kofi, okay, we're answering your question, please.
So now, once again, we go back to the beginning. You know, if you want to understand the purpose of something, you go back to the beginning. Now, the Bible clearly says that in the beginning, he made them man and woman. He created a man and a woman. So right there, you see the wisdom of God. And yet, you know, the task ahead of them was not something that could easily be accomplished by just a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Because the task ahead of them when God created Adam and Eve was to replenish the earth.
Yeah.
So why, God, you want us to replenish the earth, and you don't create one man and 1,000 women? That's the wisdom of Solomon. Yeah. So that he can give birth, they can give birth, you know, a lot very quickly, you know. But God, what wisdom is this? That you create just one man and one woman, and then they produce one child, and then just one. One of the things about the wisdom of God is that it's gentle. Now,
yes,
as sin came into the world, and as time, you know, ran along, God began, because of the hardness of man's heart, and God began to permit them to do certain things which was not really his ideal intention. And one of them was marrying multiple women. It was not that was not what he intended, but it was not. You see, so if you come to, like, say, the New Testament, the Bible talks about the fact that all things are lawful, but all things are not helpful. Then in another place it says, all things are lawful, but I will not be brought under
subjection.
Subjection of
the
any
authority. Yes.
So yes. So I will answer Kofi's question directly. That issue of marrying more than one wife, even in 1 Timothy chapter 3, where Paul was giving and recounting the characteristics or what qualifies a person to be a bishop, he said, husband of one wife.
Yeah.
He said, a bishop, therefore, if anyone desires the office of a bishop, he desires a good work. A bishop, therefore, must be blameless, husband of one wife, up to teach, that. So even people take the argument further and say, look, polygamy is not for bishops like us. But if I am not a bishop, please, then even Paul
that is what people are saying now, isn't it? That
so
because I'm not a bishop, I can go in for.
I don't intend to be a bishop, so I beg you. It is you people you're calling. It's not mine. I intend to have. Well, what I'll say to you, with my limited understanding, is that look, this is not. It's arguable, and I mean, you can let the Bible say anything that you really want to say, but if you follow the wisdom of God, right, you will find out that, look, even one is already a handful.
I know, right?
One is already a handful, and you have to understand that. So yes, our forefathers, in terms of the Old Testament and whatnot, they were allowed to, marry more than one wife and all that.
Yeah.
But, where we are going now and what God is saying in the New Testament, and if you look at his original intention, which is where he's sending us back to, it is not really a helpful thing. But,
Yeah.
So for me, that's what I think I have to say about it. It's arguable. It is not so much, a black and white thing, because there are verses like I've quoted, First Timothy 3, that people will use and stand on strongly and all those things. But, in everything, you can discern the general intention that God has.
Yeah.
And then you can use that to just navigate your way. So I will not recommend it, especially because it may be lawful, but as to whether it's really helpful, it's another thing. Because I'll tell you something. When you have people, sometimes people don't think, I'm talking a lot because you said I have the platform.
Yes, no, it's yours. I'm just
All
listening.
right. Okay. So sometimes people in taking decisions don't think, I call it their one-step logic. It's like, look, I need more than one woman in my life, so let me have a number of women. But now, what you don't realize is that after having a number of women, you give birth with all of them. Now, you have introduced half siblings amongst themselves.
Yes.
You don't realize you have now introduced stepsister, stepbrother. Now, in the Bible, we see Amnon sleeping with Tamar, his stepsister.
Yeah. Whole lot of
because
mess.
Thank you. Amnon didn't sleep with his own sister because it is not natural. It doesn't. The body won't even.
It won't even call for it.
It won't call for it. But now, when the person is a stepsister, then the person can also be a step lover, like my pastor says a year ago. Stepsister, step lover. Because yes, in one setting you are a sister.
Stepsister and step lover.
And step lover. So you now introduce all those possibilities, right? You introduce all those possibilities. So it is something to be very, very, very careful about. Very, 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 very careful about, because you may think that, oh, it makes sense. But if you want to understand sense, go to factory settings.
Yeah.
Why didn't God create what? Let's then look at what do you call him? Solomon, who took it to World Cup level. Not Solomon didn't take it AFCON, like the African, the AFCON. He took it to FIFA World Cup. And he married 700.
My goodness.
And then Bible says his wife turned away. Do you know why Solomon married 700? Sandra, do you know why he went all the way to 700?
No.
And after 700, now he wasn't even married. Because let me tell you, people say, oh, if I can just get 3, I'll be okay. As soon as you get 3, you will need 4.
You want more. Yeah.
As soon as you get
it's
4,
always
you
like
say,
that,
no,
isn't it?
I want,
yes.
5.
Because human needs are insatiable.
Thank you. In fact, the Bible says that one of the things that is not satisfied with sin. There are 4 things that are not satisfied with. They cannot be satisfied. One of it is the eyes. The eyes is not satisfied with sin. And every woman is different. Every woman, even twins are different. So you get one, you say, oh, I want short. You get short, you say, I want short and fat. You get short and fat. I want short and skinny. You get short and skinny. So I want short, dark and skinny. You get short, dark and skinny. So I want the next thing you realize, you thought you were going to 3, 4. And then, so you see that our Muslim brothers who it's allowed in their religion, you see that most of them have maybe 3, 4 wives and still have some girlfriends and what. You just have to be able to discipline yourself and just stay with one.
My goodness. This my Reverend Bachman, it's so nice to have you on. Blessing, guys. If you've just hopped on, it's been one amazing conversation we're having this morning. We're talking about getting it right. And I love what the Ledam said. She said it's called we're resetting. So we're going back to factory settings. We're taking our marriages, our relationships back to where it originated from. And we're saying this year we want to get it right. That is why we're coming your way every Saturday morning through January. We've been on your screens every Saturday morning so that you can get it right. We don't want to hear all those stories. And dear Sandra, we're tired of keep me anonymous. We're tired of that. We want to hear what God is doing and how you're excelling and enjoying your marriages. That's what we want to do. We're not saying that you wouldn't argue or you wouldn't have no, we're not saying that. We're saying that we want you to get it right. And if you're not getting it right, go back to factory settings, go back to the one that created it. And I love where all this is going. And we've come from what being how God orchestrated it, to being the divine orchestrator, to being everything, the divine matchmaker. And I've said this so many times to those who know me very well. I said, there is no matchmaker like God. There is no matchmaker like God. You might think that, I mean, we say God doesn't give spouses. But if you allow God to lead you, he will lead you to the one that he has for you. And you've explained that with us. And that is just amazing. Bishop says, yes, Bishop, God truly is gentle. That is so true. And for those of you who just joined, please share this onto your screens, share it to your timeline, share it to your WhatsApp groups and all that. Let people glean from this. Bishop, well, I know it's Kofi, so I'll just put it on. He says, thanks for the explanation. So I think he's got the explanation from where he was asking that our forefathers had loads of wives and now we're just saying stick to one. But the thing is, even those who have more than wife, they don't have peace. So.
Yes, they don't. No, how can you, because you see, somebody said something. I was chatting with somebody and he said to me that, a man can have more than one woman and even, as it were, take care of them all. But one thing that all of them cannot enjoy equally is his commitment. And that person couldn't have been more right. That person couldn't have been more right because you can only divide your time so much. You can only divide your time so much. So, and you'll be surprised that somebody just comes and says, so as for me, I just want to be on the side, or they call it side chick. By the time you realize the side chick is trying to, you go visit her now, she's frowning because, and you say you come yesterday, you didn't come. But you have to be with your wife. So now she's craving.
So you're stretching yourself thin.
Because you are stretching yourself thin. You understand? Then now, because you can't give her the time that she requires, now she's also finding the time somewhere else. You get jealous. You get worried. So you are only introducing confusion into your life. And so by the time you realize, you have, look, let me tell you even what the highest wisdom is. I'll tell you. The highest wisdom is only because we are human, we can't walk in it, was even not to marry. Like Jesus.
Yes.
You see, now somebody will say that, so if that is it, then how do we fulfill that original intention that God had to replenish the earth? That vision has changed because now we are trying to replenish heaven, the new Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Not this earth, which will fade away. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So, yes, God now, that's why in Revelation, the Bible says, and I saw a new earth and a new heaven.
New heaven.
As for this one, heaven and earth shall pass away. This is the one that will pass away. So God, because of sin, God is no more replenishing this very earth. This is not the earth that is being replenished. That intention, the earth that God wants replenished now is the new heaven and the new earth, the new Jerusalem. That is why Paul didn't even marry. Because that is not the aim of God anymore. Then the second highest wisdom, I know we cannot receive it, and even me, I couldn't receive it, was even not to have children. That is why Jesus didn't marry, Jesus didn't have children. Because Sandra, analyze carefully. Why would we want to even put our children here on this earth where there is so much pain? Have you, as a parent, watch when your child gets sick? I think that the worst thing that can happen to a person, which I won't wish even on my greatest enemy, is for that person's child to die.
Yes.
I always
say that as well.
That is too much. When a mother, a father has to bury his child, that is the pain on this earth. So why do we even put our treasures here?
Yeah.
Bible says, lay no, because children are our treasure. So you see that the wisdom of God has been extrapolated from just this earth into heaven, where God wants us to be heavenly minded. And when we get to when we begin to think eternity, then we will be able to manage some of these desires to have a lot of women, a lot of whatever. It's something we are all struggling with, but it's manageable. It's manageable.
True. It is.
It's manageable. Now, in solving this problem that, about marriage and going back to factory, now you notice something about Adam and Eve back into the garden. Eventually, when the problem came, there was a third party who had to come and try and solve the problem, which was God himself.
Yeah.
Now, I believe that one of the things people should look out for when they are going to marry is, I believe that couples should have a pastor. I'm not talking about you meet somebody somewhere, then you go and hire.
Oh, Bishop is frozen. Okay, so guys, we're really gleaning a lot of wisdom nuggets this morning from Bishop Larry, and I'm sure he's going to come back on soon because his
Yes.
Oh, you're back.
Sorry.
Right, you're full. Yes. You went off for a minute.
I went for a minute. Yeah. So there is no. So Adam and Eve had a common pastor.
Oh, Bishop, I don't know what's going on with your internet, but you keep on. Okay, guys, I'm sure he would sort it out. Oh, he would come back again, and then we would.
Yes, I am.
He's back. All right. Okay, we lost you.
Fluctuating network. So Adam and Eve had a common pastor, and it's very important that when choosing a spouse, somebody you want to marry, make sure that the person has somebody in his or her life who can speak into his or her life.
True. Very true.
I'm telling you, don't just pick any lady from somewhere or sometimes even a church, but the person doesn't have an accomplished pastor who can speak, so that because when trouble comes, you will suddenly realize that, hey, you need to go and get somebody to come and speak and come and mediate and come and talk and come and try and solve the problem. And somebody who must come and bring God's wisdom, God's mind. Hallelujah. So when at the beginning you don't have that and you are in love and you think all this, look, let me tell you, one of the most abused, I was telling somebody recently, based on current happenings, that it is no more such a noble thing to even say that you're a pastor, because it is one of the most abused professions or callings. People have abused this thing so much and have used it to manipulate and take advantage of people. However, the proof of authenticity is in the fact that there is a counterfeit. Counterfeit is what proves that the original exists. I said it on your show before. So you are in the UK, so let me use that. I don't think there's a counterfeit $40 pound note. And the reason is you are muted. And the reason is because that's right. So the reason is because the 40 pound original note does not exist.
No, it doesn't.
But there must be a 50 pound counterfeit.
A lot in the system.
Yes, because 50 pound original exists.
Yeah.
So the reason for the numerous counterfeit pastors, prophets, and all these things is because they signify the existence of the original, the true ones. Our duty is to look for the true ones, proven, time-tested, and then connect with them.
Yeah,
don't just follow some charlatan somewhere, somebody who is not proven, who's not known, he has no pedigree, and then he just has a title, and then then
just messing people up.
Yes, but you need people who, they may not be perfect, but they are time tested.
Yeah.
And so that in case or in times of crisis, these people can come and speak. They can get the attention of your wife. They can get the attention of your husband, But if you just marry someone in love and somebody who doesn't listen to anybody, why do you think the person will listen to you?
Don't listen. No. And I love the analogy you just gave about the 40 pound note, because you can easily tell this is not original because there's none in the
Right.
system. However, with the 50 pounds one, there's 50 pounds, and even before, people were finding it very difficult to identify the counterfeit, the fake ones, to the original ones, because 50 pounds is rare. We hardly see 50 pounds. 10, the 5, the 10s, and the 20s are all over. But the 50 pounds it's quite rare to see that, because it's like the highest denomination. So we don't you don't see it a lot. But now, well, they had to now do we have the ink that you just mark on it. So if it doesn't stain, it means it's original. If it stains, it's counterfeit because it's paper. And then we have the ultra light where you put underneath it to see if the hologram is going to come and all that. And so these are the kind of things that the Holy Spirit actually helps us to check when it comes to the counterfeit. Yeah. See?
So you see, you are able to identify what makes the original. There are a lot of people who are just in churches. They can't identify when they are following fake pastors, when their pastors are backsliding. They just stay there in the name of loyalty, But look at how you are analyzing that. Look, this is one of the litmus tests you must do to know and be able to decipher between the original and the fake. Then there's this. This is what is missing in the lives of many people, and then they just fall prey to predators.
Guys, this year we're getting it right. And listen, everybody that comes on this show is just dropping them like it's hot. It's dropping them like it's hot. Last 2 weeks we had the Delassie come on, and we're talking about going back to basics, and he made us understand that we need to now take review of our marriages, of our relationship, of ourselves. And then Reverend Bachman came last week, and he talked about the family getting involved with our lives and making sure that we're dating right and getting it right and marrying right. And today, Bishop, listen, I want to use what Bladem said, resetting. This morning, you've taken us back to factory settings. And guys, if you're not watching it live and you're watching the replay, please, you can still forward it to your friends, to your groups. Let people, this is wisdom. And we're not charging you, we're giving it to you for free, an hour of our time. And in the UK, they say time is money, because when you go to work for an hour, you get paid. I'm not paying Bishop for coming to do this show with me. I'm not paying, he's not charging. Even if you tell me I won't pay because he's my bishop,
I won't even charge you. I won't even charge you.
I won't pay. Listen, this is pure wisdom. This is godly counsel. Take hold of it. Reset it. Listen, Bishop is on Facebook as Larry Odonkor. He didn't even add Bishop to his name. So just DM him, book an appointment with him. Let him speak to you. Let him guide you. You want to get it right. Marriage, when it's working, is beautiful. But when it's not working, it is disastrous. It makes you miserable. It doesn't make you even want to enjoy your own life, because the person you're spending your life with is not attributing to the happiness that you so desire. So please, let's get it right this year. We're tired of people saying, oh, marriage, dear, marriage is bad. I keep telling people, don't let people with failed marriages tell you marriage is bad. Marriage is there's this, I've forgotten her name, she's a Nigerian lady preacher, and she says marriage is sweet, but it depends on the kind of spoon you're using to eat. So
yes.
So get it right. Know the right cutlery to use. Make sure that your marriage is working. Your marriage is, guys, and don't just be a case sera person. What will be. Anything that comes, and someone says, I'm growing. I'm 26. I'm growing, and then you go in for anything that comes your way. The person's abusing you, and you're still saying, in the name of I need a relationship, I need marriage, and so I stay. No, please. You deserve more than that. You're precious. You're priceless. Listen, if Christ can lay down his life for you, then it means you're very, very priceless. You don't let anybody treat you anyhow and let them get away with it. No. Put structures in place. Have strategies of how you want your life to go. Plan it. Go back to the drawing board with your partner, with your spouse, and say, this year we want to get it right. How can we get it right? Sit down and analyze how your marriage was last year, where you failed, and where you think you can improve. And this year, get it right. Factory settings, and Bishop said, we're going back to the source. We're going back to the one that gave us the instructions of how to have a good marriage, how to have a beautiful life with our partners and our spouse. That is what we're doing this year. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Marriage is beautiful. Bishop, your last words, please.
Sandra, you said something which I'm happy you mentioned, and I'd like to touch on as my sign off word. You did say that, there are people who say, I'm growing and whatever. Look, to those people, I want to say something, that have it in your mind that no marriage is better than bad marriage.
Absolutely.
No marriage is better than bad marriage. So don't, because now you find, because, especially when people, ladies especially, when they begin to cross 35, then they become so desperate. Now you see it, they are joining all sorts of platforms and groups and whatnot, entertaining all. And I told somebody, I said, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I told the person, every lady on some of these platforms, all the guys on the platforms know that all the ladies there are desperate. And when you are desperate, you don't think straight. That is actually why we are just watching the African, whatever. When you are desperate, you score own goals. You score against
you make
yourself.
mistakes.
You're under pressure. You are not thinking. You want to. So you'll find people who find guys there who take advantage of them. Within 2 months, they are married, only to find out that, you see, all those things, they are signs of the fact that you are not virtuous. You don't trust God like Ruth, who can go in the direction of no husband and find the best husband. Ruth went in the direction of no husband, in the direction of God, in the direction of her convictions, and found the best husband. If people can trust God, then God will come through for them.
Guys, this has been amazing. And I told you that this bishop is full of godly wisdom and godly counsel. Look at the way he's broke. And Bishop, please, we need to do this thing again. It shouldn't just
Anytime, Sandra.
We shouldn't just be today, please. We have to do this again.
Anytime, Sandra. Just give me a shout
thank you
out
so
and I'll
much.
make myself available.
Thank you. I'm so honored. Guys, we've taken an hour of your time and we don't want to keep you here again. I know it's Saturday. I'm sure you have things to do and sermons to even write and plan for church service tomorrow. So Bishop, thank you so much for giving us an hour of godly counsel and godly wisdom. I'm always very, very grateful to you.
Thank you for having me,
Sandra. Thank you God so much. You. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Oh, sorry. I went off for a moment, but hey, I'm back. I'm so glad that you've stayed with me for an hour, and we've all gleaned some wisdom from what Bishop has said this morning. This year, we want to get it right. We want to go back to factory settings. We want to go back to the source, to the one who created marriage, to the one who instituted it. We want to get it right. If you think that you need professional help in your marriage, please do reach out. But go to people that are certified, people that are not biased, people that know what they're talking about, and let them help you. Bishop is on Facebook as Larry Udomko. You can just DM him and I'm sure he would reply, and then you can catch up with him, get all the counsel that you need to have a good marriage and a good relationship this year. We want to get it right. We're resetting, like Deladem said, and I'm using that word today. And you know that this year we said we're reflecting, we're resolving, and we're refocusing. These are the 3 R's I want you to run with this year. Refocus on the past year, all right? And then resolve the issues that you did not resolve in that year, and then refocus on the assignment that is ahead of you, what you think you need to do. Listen, marriage when it's working is beautiful. It's lovely. It's nice to see two people in love. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have conflict, you're not going to have arguments, but you would still know how to navigate it, even when you argue. Okay, so Let's all learn to have beautiful, healthy, happy homes where our children would grow and our children would say, we want to have a home just like what my parents have. I want to have a marriage like what my parents have. Let's be that example unto them. Be example unto many that are watching you. Listen, if you need any assistance, please do link up. Okay, until I come your way again next week, enjoy the rest of your weekend and know that I love you. I'm a sucker for love. Anything to do with love and relationships, I am a sucker for it. Not just any relationship, but beautiful, happy, loving relationships. So the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Go through this week with the confidence and assurance that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Until I come your way again next week, enjoy the rest of your weekend. God bless you. I love you all. Bye.